We had a lien on that property.
So he's the trustee of the deed of trust.
Yes, he's a trustee of the trust. We're a lender. We lent this family money under one of our very programs.
And he died.
I don't
Well,
know if
I live across the road.
Okay.
He died and they defaulted.
Okay, defaulted, and we foreclosed.
City Financial had a second lien and y'all sent them a letter and said, hey, you're out of luck.
Right, that makes sense.
Okay. They turned down a $5,000 bid on this house.
The trustee did.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And why did he do that?
Said there was a minimum of $32,500.
Exactly. And why is that?
Probably because you want to recoup your money.
That's what that's the outstanding loan amount that was still
Right.
remaining on it.
Right.
So if you're there to sell bidding, and any number of people bidding,
The only one there.
There was
you
just
know,
one.
and that's normally the case. We do about 100 foreclosures per year.
Okay.
And that usually is just one, but if somebody wants to bid, he is instructed as a trustee, and I'm a trustee in most of our deeds of trust, that he has at that point he can only take our minimum bid, and there's lots of reasons why we have to get, or what we're owed,
Well,
our expenses and costs.
Normally, what somebody would do is go to an auction, they start off with 5 and then go to 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, but this is not an auction, though.
It's not an auction.
This is not an auction.
It's a default.
This is the default, and we have to, because.
So was there excuse me for interrupting.
It's all right.
I want to understand it because
Absolutely.
he asked us to come take a look at books and records to help him.
I'm a mechanic.
Norman and I
Sorry,
do,
just-
Norman and I do legal research.
Okay.
And, for attorneys or cases or whatever. Anyway,
Before you ask your question, what I am going to give you, even though you're not asking for it, because I know you're trying to get to something, what I am going to give you is, one of the things I can give you, even though it's not specific, I'll give you all the foreclosures. These are all the foreclosures we've done, and for that period. And it has the name, the address, and the bid amount. But
when you advertise these for sale,
yes,
is there a minimum amount put in the advertisement?
No, here's
No.
the ad, it didn't
No.
say that.
no, because
It said it was abandoned, it would be given to the best and highest bid at the day of the auction.
and keep in mind, the
Is what it
trustee,
says.
he's representing two people.
Right.
He's representing the lender, and he's representing the borrower. That's what the law says he has to do. And so he's looking for the best and highest bid. And if the highest bid is my bid as a lender, $34,000, then that's the bid he's going to take. If you'd have bid $35,000, he'd have taken your
Wouldn't worth
bid.
that.
Well, I'm just saying, but he's got to take the best bid, and he's already been directed by the housing fund that
Anything less than?
anything less than that he can't take.
I'm familiar with this through
Sure,
through
yeah.
cars. So if you
Okay.
take a car through the NSDA auctions, you can run it through 1 or 2 or 3 times. And if nobody hits the point you want, the minimum that you want, you can withdraw it
Right.
from the auction.
But they put a
Now-
reserve on it right up
Now,
front.
now keep in mind, the trustee has not seen the property.
Right.
He hasn't visited the property. He's only dealing with the paperwork transactions and the guidance he has. And so he has no visibility on what the
Okay.
property looks like at that
So
point in time.
finish your story as to what happened.
Y'all weren't there, so how did you put a bid in?
Because we know how much is still owed.
Right.
And we're the one, the housing fund, I start the foreclosure process. My servicing department downstairs identifies that after a period of time, either they're not getting paid by the client or they've run out of options and work for the client.
He died.
So, and they direct the legal department here to begin the
So
foreclosure
is that
process.
usually a 2 or 3 month period of time?
It can range from the standpoint of, because
This timing?
what we try to do all we can to, of course, in depth is not something you can do because legally then we have to go ahead.
Well, the
and
son lived in
foreclose.
the house and he was thrown out.
Yeah, well, like I said, we can't allow, because these are tax-exempt funds and there are special conditions that are, first of all, we have lots of different funding pots, but this is one that's in our bond dollars. And so these are tax-exempt funds, so a person has to qualify to get the benefit of it. Once the person passed away, the one who did qualify for the loan, then we're obligated and we're required that we have to go ahead and begin the foreclosure process. We've had many times where
Now, can a family member take it over?
no, family members have come in.
They can't take it over?
Family members have been living there unbeknownst to us and maybe paying the bills for years. And then that person dies and they come to us and say, we wanted to keep doing what we've been doing, we've been living here, and we can't do that. We can't sell them the property, we can't
But if
transfer
you're
it.
investors, how does that benefit an investor?
Well, it's not at the point of the benefit, it's just a requirement, because see, this tax-exempt money is fraught with also rules and regulations. And the rules and regulations to get access to this, because once again, an investor has to meet
it's
certain
not a revolving
qualifications,
fund.
but the tax-exempt dollars for a person in the state of West Virginia to get access to it, they have to meet first-time home buyer requirements, it has to meet income requirements, it has to meet house price limit requirements. And so if we allowed anybody to just transfer or take over the property, if we knew about it, who doesn't meet that qualification, then that's in violation of how we said that money would get out. So if John Doe passes away, Or if John Doe was not living there and no one told us, and we found out later that his son, daughter, or cousin was living there, we'd have to foreclose on them, even though they may still qualify. That wouldn't help, we still have to foreclose on that particular loan. And then they'd have to go back and try to purchase it through the normal purchasing
Right.
process.
But see, and that's where I'm at a loss to comprehend.
Sure.
This whole West Virginia Housing Development Fund was not set up to benefit investors, it was set up to benefit poor people.
And that's exactly right. You're
Now,
you're
let me
dead on
finish-
point.
let me finish.
You're dead on point.
This young man, I couldn't stand this kid, okay?
Who's that?
The kid, that Wesley Boggs' son,
Okay.
okay, he's a little hood rat. Couldn't stand it. But the fact of the matter is, he stayed there for 2 years and hauled his daddy twice, 3 times a week for dialysis. I mean, it was the saddest thing you ever, if you had a dog, you would have shot it. Okay? And then y'all up and throw this guy out. Now, I'm not here for him. I'm just saying, the way you went about it, it wasn't right, it wasn't fair. It did not benefit poor people. Okay? Now, you guys are the party of the first party in here, right? With Richard Peel as your trustee. Now, on October 15th, it's showing you guys the party of the second part that bought this place for $34,234 that you already owned. That doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't buy your suit again that you're wearing,
But see, here's, you missed an important step.
obviously.
I don't, when I lend, let's say it's you, and I lend you $34,000 to buy the house, that deed is in your name. All I have is a deed of trust.
You got a lien on that deed.
I got a deed.
That's your deed.
My-
That's your deed.
No, I got.
You had first lien.
I've got a lien. It's your deed. It'll be in your name.
Right.
The deed will be
As long as
in-
I make the payment.
And the deed of trust, which is the legal document, that's in my name as a trustee and your name
As a
together.
lien holder.
As a lien holder.
Right.
Now, so when I foreclose under my deed of trust, not the deed, and I tell the trustee, you are not paying me, and so, or you're dead. So begin the foreclosure, we do the default letters and now start the foreclosure process. He does all the notifications, let the world know we're going to foreclose, as you saw in the paper, and he shows up representing, and he shows up representing both you and me because...
I'm dead.
I know, well, he
I'm
represents,
dead. Stone
he represents,
cold dead.
but he's representing your estate too, because
I-
he can't very well, let's say the property is worth, you said it's worth nothing, let's flip
I didn't
it.
say that.
Is this
Well,
a paper entry?
Yeah, well, let's say the property is
Or is there
worth,
actual
let's say the
transfer of
property is worth
cash?
$100,000. Say the property is worth $100,000.
Not in Lockwood.
But and he only owed $34,000. That trustee has to do all he can to get the best bid because he can't sell that property for $7,000 and mess the estate out of, say, $93,000. So the trustee at that juncture is working for two parties. And so even though as a lender, I have a responsibility and obligation to tell him to do what he's got to do, at that sale, he's looking for the best price. So anybody over my 34, he's good to go.
Makes sense.
To buy.
But you guys to shell out another $34,000?
Okay,
Who
so-
got this check right
So,
here?
so at that juncture, he foreclosed on some funds. So he foreclosed, he did a trustee's report, put that on record, and now, as a trustee, since I made the highest bid at the property,
You already own it.
no, but I don't have a deed in my name. The deed is still in the dead person's name. The trustee then deeds the property to me, the Housing Development Fund, for $34,000, which is the money that's still owed to us from the deceased.
But it says you're the party of the second part here, and here he's representing you as the party of the first part.
Two different,
You
yes.
can't be two different people.
Well, we're talking about a different process, though.
No, we're
This-
talking about the same house.
This is the beginning of the process. At this
Okay.
juncture,
This is the same day.
Yeah.
The same day.
but that's exactly right. But this to get it to the point where he could do this, he had to foreclose and take the property out of the deceased's name. Once he foreclosed, the deceased is no longer legally owner of that property. The trustee has the legal authority by law to be the grantor or to convey that property to whoever won the bid. In that case, it would be the